Well, I like strategy games and space strategy games in particular, but there are a few different genres I like to follow also, like simulation and survival. And my favorite survival game was Frostpunk. So when Ixion came out and it was billed as Frostpunk in space, I had to give it a try. So here's how they stack up. When I'm comparing games, one of the first things I like to look at is the settings. In Frostpunk, you get 4 tabs: General, where you can set the default language, temperature scale, which is either Fahrenheit or Celsius, and you can disable the tutorials if you want to. Graphics selection, you can choose whether it's full screen borderless or windowed or full screen exclusive. Resolution, GFX quality. Audio, you can control the volume, master volume, and the music volume. A few other settings down here. Controls, you can change the bindings, like you can make the W key do something else if you don't like the camera forward selection assigned to it. So I usually keep the defaults and just go on. The next thing you do is you select the scenario, and I'm going to choose the main scenario for Frostpunk, which is a new home. When you click that, you can go into survivor mode if you want to, but I don't play that because it's too hard. You can customize the scenario. You can change the difficulty level from medium to easy, medium, hard, extreme. I like medium. You can do some individual settings also and move that down. I can go up if I want to for people's needs. I can do that with economy, weather, and society's attitude as well. When I'm happy with my settings, I click start. And after a brief pause, you'll get an intro, which you can bypass by pushing the escape key. I'm not going to show all that here. And then you get the introductory screen. It gives you a brief idea of what's going on. When you're ready to play, click "We have to survive," and you're dumped into the game. The neat thing, the cool thing for playing words about this game is that it's set in like a fantasy historical past, and it's a vast winterland. So it's a unique setting. I've not seen another game with this kind of setting, so it's pretty good. First objective is to fight the cold, so that's how you start out a game in Frostpunk. Ixion also has settings you can make before you start the game. You can make game settings like the language, tutorials, turn them on or off, construction mode, zoom to rotate, things like that. Key bindings, you can reprogram the keys, like C is construction mode, you can make something else do that instead. Display settings like borderless window or full screen or windowed, resolution, the monitor, graphics like shadow quality, texture filtering. This depends on how hefty your graphics card is. Audio, you control audio volumes like master volume, music volume, special effects, and voice volume. And it's got an accessibility feature through the microphone. So this game, unlike Frostpunk, does not have any difficulty settings. You can't adjust the difficulty at all. So I hear that's coming out in a future patch, so that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking of getting this game. Anyway, when you're happy, you can say apply settings. I'm just going to X out of it and hit new game. And after a brief loading screen, you get press any key to continue, and you get the introductory screen. Now, if you press the escape key, you can't bypass this. It just brings up the game menu. So what you have to do, I found out, is hold down the space key, and it will let you skip the intro if you've seen it before. And after that, the game starts. Something that's important to me is the tutorials and how easy the game is to learn. In Frostpunk, the tutorials are over here on the left. They show up as screens. So here's one for resources and workforce. And it gives you a little animation that shows you how it works. And then when it's done with that one, the next one will activate and walk you through that. Same thing with the camera controls. They'll show you how to move back and forth. And then when that one's done, it'll show you how to zoom in and out. Good tutorial. I like the tutorial in this one. As for Ixion, it's got a tutorial also, but there's a little bit of prologue you have to go through before you get to it. I'm going to skip through that. So similar to Frostpunk, you get goals that pop up here, and then they move up to the upper left hand corner. Tutorials are very similar to Frostpunk in that they're over on the left side also, and when you click on them, they pop up as screens as well. No animation, but that's not a big deal there, but you can click through them. Oh, there's a little bit of animation. Okay, I was wrong. Some of them have animation and some of them don't. So very, very similar to Frostpunk in the tutorials, the way they approach it. I like this one too. This one's got tabs that you can go through, so very good tutorial. I like it. In Frostpunk, you've got 6 basic resources, and they're located at the top of the screen in the stripe. You've got coal, and you can also see how much you've got, 25. And there's wood, which I've got 58 of. Steel, steam cores, food, and food rations. So raw food is processed into food rations. It makes you feed twice as many people with food rations, and it's less likely to make people sick. So that's a good thing to do in Frostpunk. Ixion, on the other hand, has 13 resources compared to Frostpunk 6. You've got the iron, alloys, carbon, polymer, silicon, electronics, hydrogen, waste, ice, food, cryogenic pods, research, and people themselves. So I never thought of waste as a resource, but the waste they're talking about is the waste that's produced by the machinery and things like that, not human waste. And also the cryogenic pods, that's really our cryonic pods. That's people who are jettisoned out into space, and it's the only way you can get more people in this game is by reviving them and go collecting the pods and reviving them. So Ixion's a lot more resource potential here in this game, a lot more to manage. Before I get into the research and technology trees, I gotta make one little correction. I said Frostpunk had 6 basic resources. Really, it's got 7. I forgot to include the people down here at the bottom. This will show you how many are unemployed and how many technicians you have, or engineers I mean, and how many workers you have. In Frostpunk, you get to the research tree by clicking this icon right here. So there are 4 branches: heating, exploration and industry, resources, and food, health, and shelter. Each one has 5 levels, as you can see here. And before you can research anything in like this level, this has to be unlocked first. Once unlocked, you can pretty well skip around and research what you want. So all in all, pretty well laid out. It gives you a little tool tip on what you'll get when you research it. So pretty good, pretty informative. I like it. So in Frostpunk, research is gained through workshops, and building additional workshops doesn't give you any more research points per se, or you can't research more than one technology if you have more than one workshop. What it does is increase the speed. So the first workshop if you have 2, your research speed is increased by about 40%. Most players agree the optimal number is 4. After that, it's a diminishing returns. In Ixion, the research and technology tree is laid out a little bit differently. You get to that by clicking on this icon. And this is not usually one of my favorite layouts for research, but it's laid out in a circle. So you've got the first tier, second tier, third tier. You've also got mystery items here that can be unlocked when you complete the entire tree. Also, when you click on it, it'll give you an idea what you're going to get. Click that to research it. I don't have much research, so I wouldn't be able to get through that. But that's how the research tree is laid out in this game. Not really any branches or anything like that. It's okay. In Ixion, research is gained a little bit differently than it is in Frostpunk. In Ixion, you've got to go out to the system view, and there are places where science is available, and it has to be collected by sending a science ship there. Once the science ship is there, to collect all 60 of those fairly quickly, and then those will be available up here for research. In Frostpunk, you build buildings to this icon here. You start out with 5 tabs: people, health, food, resources, and tech. You get a 6th tab available eventually when you make a choice in the Book of Laws between faith and hope, or order and discipline. So when you hover over like the tents, it tells you how much it'll cost. If you can't build something, it will be grayed out, and more of these become available as you go through the tech tree. So you got health, food buildings like a hothouse, resources like a coal thumper or a coal mine, and tech, so a beacon, steam hub, workshop. In Frostpunk, in the Book of Laws, if you choose the faith and spiritual strength laws, this tab becomes available. And you get the field kitchen, shrine, faith keepers, the temple, and house of prayer. These 2 are grayed out because in this particular in this particular game, I've already built them. When the decision becomes available in the Book of Laws, if you choose the Order and Discipline laws, this tab becomes available in the building selections, and with it you get the watchtower, guard station, prison, and a propaganda center. And also in this game, looks like I've already got one built, so you can only have one of these per city or per game. In Ixion, you can construct buildings through this construction menu here, internal construction. And like Frostpunk, you've got 6 categories: maintenance, space, factories, population, food. The stability option doesn't activate until you do some research. It has to be in this 3rd ring, and once you research one of these 3 buildings, that tab activates. So hovering over this will give you an idea of what you get and how much it costs and what the maintenance costs are. And you can get that for each category. This also has external construction, which you get to by clicking on this. So on the external construction, which is already selected, you can build solar panels with small, medium, and a medium, and a large. You've also got engines you can construct, like a EKP engine and a Volt engine. The problem with external construction, at least on the solar panels, is that if you build those, your hull repair pauses for a while, and if your hull's in bad shape, it could be the end of the game for you, so you have to pay attention to that. Frostpunk has a book of laws that are available right at the start of the game, and the first set of laws is adaptation. You can find ways to battle hunger, sickness, and apathy. So you get things like a fighting arena, helps you battle discontent, emergency shifts, engineer apprentices, cemetery. These have still open. When you choose one of them, it becomes a full circle like that. So these laws can be used to increase production, or increase hope, or decrease discontent, which are important things to consider in this game. At some point in the game, you'll be given a choice of which path to follow in the Book of Laws: faith and spiritual strength, or order and discipline. If you take the faith approach, then you get a set of laws and buildings available through this branch up here. You can do evening prayers, and when you click on it, it shows you what you're getting. Also, any bad things that might come with that if you enact it. Like if you enact this one, discontent will rise. You can do the ultimate, which is new faith. Now this gives you the chance to do something really fun, construct the execution space and execute people, just to make them feel better about obeying your decrees. Of course, some people will die, but that's the ultimate in the faith laws. If you choose order and discipline instead in the Book of Laws, this set of options becomes available. You start out with a neighborhood watch. Of course, you had to build 2 watchtowers soon after this law is passed. You can do build prisons. Of course, you have to build a prison, and discontent will rise slightly. And then you've got the ultimate, which is the new order. You'll hope will never be a problem again. Some Londoners will be killed, but you can also build a public execution space with this set of laws also. Big fun. In Ixion, the equivalent to the Book of Laws in Frostpunk is the data listing system policies, but unlike Frostpunk, these are not available right away. You have to research those. That research is located in the 4th ring. It's the DLS center. That's already been researched. In order to gain access to the policies, you have to build one of these in each sector. I have one built in Sector 6 right now. This is what a DLS center looks like. So to access the policies, you click on this icon. So in Sector 6, I've got 8 policies I can enact: propaganda, food, working hours, death, waste, starving population, infirmaries, and cryopod awakening. These are all designed to help out with specific situations. So if I click one of these, set this to intense, my stability goes up by 2. I'm not going to do that right now. Also, this sector happens to specialize in industry, so I get an industrial bonus at Tier 1. Batteries last 20% longer. And I can't honestly say if you get more of these as the game goes on, or more bonuses as the game goes on. I just haven't played that far yet, but it is an interesting thing to have. So if I go to Sector 1, you can see I can't do the policy thing because there's no DLS sector built there. Exploration in Ixion and Frostpunk follow similar paths. In Frostpunk, you click on the view map icon, and there's points of interest you can send your scout teams to, like Tulsa City, Fishing Village. There's also points of interest that I haven't gone to yet, and you can send scouts there. And you find things like resources like steam cores. You can also find survivors to increase your population, which is the only way you can grow your population in Frostpunk. In Ixion, exploration is conducted through the planetary system map, and with this you do it with probes. So I've got a probe ready, so I click on it. I click on launch probe, and then the neat thing about this is you can scan for resources. When you get green bars, you know that you're onto something you need. Like if I need iron, I'll wait until the bars are green, and I assume the higher the better. Or so I've got iron and looks like carbon. So I click there, and the probe's launched. The thing that I find a little cumbersome on this screen, and this is getting off subject a little bit, but it's hard for me to navigate, know where my ships are. Like science ships will collect research here, but it's really hard for me to see if a science ship's really there or not. That's just a little thing that I don't like about the game, but that's minor. Overall, I think this is a pretty fantastic game. In both the games, you have two bars you have to watch. In Frostpunk, it's discontent and hope. So discontent, it gives you a readout of what's causing discontent, like bad food and overcrowded medical facilities. You've also got some good modifiers like your fighting arena and guard station. Also hope, it gives you a readout there what's going on. So you have to watch these, because if hope gets too low or if discontent gets too high, your rule and your game will end. And your rule can end in a most unpleasant fashion. Something you designed for somebody else could ultimately be used on you instead. Yuck. In Ixion, there's two bars to monitor as well. One is hull integrity. That gets down to 0, game over, because your station just explodes and everybody's dead. The other one is trust. That's how much trust the crew has in you. And once again, once it gets down to 0, they can overthrow your rule and game over again. I started this video with a soundtrack from Ixion, so I guess it's appropriate to end it with a soundtrack from Frostpunk. So there you have it. This is kind of a mid-level view of both games in a comparison. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped. And this is Rich from Loner Strategy Games. I'll see you later. Bye.